Let's go. Yes. This is the underground. Back at you for another one. And we got a lot going on. Yes. Yeshua is King. Much love. Welcome, everyone, to another show. Going to get a refresh here real quick. Also, looking for a mic check. Looks like everything's going good there. All right. Thank you for the 5x5s, all the feedback. Sticking with the same old email. If anyone's got anything they want to get to me, I do have some images people have sent my way. I'm going to be trying to share. Unless, like, once I get them on the screen, they don't look that great. I'll just give you a heads up. Some of them that people have sent me, they get real pixelated. Thank you, D Whistle, D White, Troublesome, Deanne. Hope everything is good. We've got so much going on here, so many different things. As always, I appreciate those of you that share the stream. And yeah, lots to cover here tonight. You can get my attention in the chat by @me at Dabu7, actually 77. It'll light it up in red. That way I can see it. And I appreciate all support. Anyone buys coffees, PayPal, anything like that, I'll appreciate it to the fullest as well. So we're going to start off with this, as you can see, it's captioned "A Pure Evil" with the shooting that took place today. Um, it feels like it always has been. Like anytime that I report on this type of event, it gets heavily censored. I can just feel it. Just in certain ways, the things that happen. Um, I can't. There's so much censorship going on out there and forms of it that are like not talked about and unseen. That, like with AI stepping up into the scene now, like with events like this, it seems like they're going to do their thing rather quickly. Um, I have to like I've got to take measures. Let's just put it that way. All the time with certain stuff that I upload, things that I put out. I'm not even going to speak on it unless we're like in the flesh, just cause um, it's just crazy. Um, so this shooting, this goes down. It broke really early this morning. Um, you can see here it says trans Minneapolis Catholic school shooter identified, had two names, posted a manifesto on YouTube before the shooting. Shooter had killed Donald Trump written on a gun. Um, there's a lot to this. Now, the name of the suspect is Robert Westman and Robin Westman. So a guy turned girl here, looks like, what they're calling tranny, has been identified as, they say the shooter's been identified as 23-year-old Robin Westman. At 17, he had his name legally changed to Robin. So his parents approved of that, I guess, and was not right in the head, obviously, here. In the video, he's showing the video, and he sounds like he's trying to rub it in, like doing little laughs and stuff like that. Is this actually it? Yeah, this is. So he's flipping through pages. I guess you can pause.
Sponsored by Pabst Blue Ribbon.
The whole thing. You can see if I click forward here.
Yeah.
He's got like all that there where he, I don't know, he just makes some comments and does some certain things, and on all of the guns and all the weaponry, he had different stuff written, like stupid stuff written all over the place. And you could see what he believed in. We had a gun on top of the LGBTQ, like equality type of thing. Then some dark cat with wings sitting on top of a skull. So this character definitely had some mental issues and a dark side, big time. You can see more here. He had stuff written on the clips. Um, and this is the person. So this is how it broke loose. Initially, they said that 20 some people had been shot, and that some of them were children. I'm gonna see what this says here.
Fox News alert here as we are getting brand new information on the shooter of this morning's killings at that Minneapolis school. Per our own David Spunt, this just in, second law enforcement sources are now confirming two names of the shooter, Robin Westman and Robert Westman. The shooter may have used both names, we are being told by those sources. It is unclear which name local authorities will be announcing and how they will be treating the name in official documents. We are waiting for that official update from those law enforcement officials. That is all that we know at this time. As soon as we get that update from those officials, we will bring that to you.
So apparently, this character rolled up outside of the church in Minneapolis and started to shoot. Some of the details said that he was shooting from the outside toward the inside. But I have not got any of the details that they haven't said for sure, because they say the FBI is investigating and saying that they're investigating this as an act of domestic terrorism. Okay, it was a hate crime targeting Catholics specifically, is what they're saying. There were 2 fatalities, an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old. In addition, 14 children and 3 adults were injured. So it ended up being a little less than 20, but they ended up being hit or shot, altogether in this, but 2 fatalities, 8-year-old and a 10-year-old in this. They say the FBI will continue to provide updates on our ongoing investigation as available. Now, you're looking at all the latest updates that they're putting out there. They say he was armed with 3 guns, a rifle, a shotgun, and a handgun. So, and he apparently uploaded this video to YouTube right before the shooting. He shows a body target on the wall with an image of Jesus Christ on the head of the target. So this is clearly a targeted attack against Catholics and the churchgoers, fueled by evil. I mean, this is evil at this point. Anyone that's going to do this, go in and take out. Okay, look at what the guy's got written all over the gun that we've seen thus far. We've seen like the N-word, which is not good. Kill Donald Trump written right there in front of you. Okay, it says kill pedos on the side. All right, he's got all these things written on the gun, but he goes in. He has nothing written on the gun. Like, I'm processing all this. I'm thinking to myself, okay, he's got all this other stuff written on the gun. Like, I would expect, like, kill Catholics or something on there. Like, I don't to kind of match it. Like, if he had this political disdain, why wasn't it taken out on the political disdain? Is what, like, I'm trying to see what matches and what doesn't here. And I don't know. This one with the feds being on the scene so quickly raises a lot of red flags. And where is this character at? Okay, because nowhere here in any of these articles thus far that I've shown you here, or in any update that I've seen, does it say that he's dead, or how they apprehended him, if they've got him. It doesn't mention it one time. I just went through all this. Nowhere has it stated how they took him out. I mean, do you guys know? Do you guys see anywhere? I'm sure some other source has to have said that he's deceased, right? I mean, it's just odd that it's not mentioned, like, anywhere how he's been taken out or apprehended. Like, or is he still on the freaking run? Like, because all that we're pushing this morning when I put it out was active shooter, active shooter. nowhere did I end up getting an update, but I had to step away. I wasn't on top of the feeds for a couple hours, and if that did slip by, it just doesn't say like the fatalities include also the shooter. Let me see here. Let me open up caption tells. He killed himself. They said he offed himself. He had a 38 in himself, man. Okay. He shot himself behind the chair. Okay. 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 Um. Okay. Yeah. Some of them words right there. You can't even speak on these outlets without getting a banner and all this other stuff. Okay. Well, pretty clear. That's what happened then, right there. Um. Odd. It doesn't say that in none of these updates. What's this one? Tim Walls and them are gonna speak on this. They say that it's odd because one of these guys ends up defending not the church, not the Catholic Church that got people shot and killed and hurt and maimed. He basically is saying the LGBTQ is the real victims here. But not a single one of them was shot or hurt or anything like that. And I don't know. See what he says.
Thank you, Governor. Throughout the morning, we have seen this extraordinary Minneapolis family step up in thousands of different ways. People with strength, resilience, compassion, and love for the families that have been forever impacted by this heinous act. We want to make sure that we're doing everything possible for them right now, and I want to give a special thank you, and we are so grateful to all of the faculty and the teachers at Annunciation. The way that they acted during severe threat and danger was nothing short of heroic. This is a tragic and horrible event that should never occur, and it would have been all the more tragic and horrible had they not stepped in, at times perhaps put themselves in danger to protect others. As horrible as this has been, it could have been far worse. I'm grateful for our law enforcement partners, our police officers in the Minneapolis Police Department and other law enforcement agencies well beyond that step up, that answered the call to make sure that they were running towards danger when so many of the rest of us would have run in the other direction. Thank you. We are so appreciative of your service. To Principal DeBoer and your whole team, the ethic that you have showed, the love that you've shown, it's flat out incredible. And at the same time, look, we need to be doing more than talking. It can't just be words. There needs to be action. And when we have seen school shooting after school shooting, when we have seen churches get shot up by horrible actors, I think the impetus has to be on all of us as leaders to do a whole lot more, to recognize that we've got more guns in this country than we have people. And it's on all of us to recognize the truth and the reality that we can't just say that this shouldn't happen again and then allow it to happen again and again beyond that. It's on all of us. And I have heard about a whole lot of hate that's being directed at our trans community. Anybody who is using this as an opportunity to villainize our trans community or any other community out there has lost their sense of common humanity. We should not be operating out of a place of hate for.
I'm done with this douche. Okay. I can't and I won't just sit there and take script or whatever you've seen. You want to see the rest of it, you can go watch it or go tune into that. I don't know. I just can't. There's a part of me with all the stuff I've seen. I've been here so many times with these shootings, like all these thoughts running through my head. I'm listening to everything he says, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's so hard to. Everything gets so politicized, and it's just got the feel it did right out the gate. Normally when I report on a shooting event, like let's say a normal shooting event, like a normal shooting, you hear the police are on the scene, maybe some medics, ambulance. That's a normal situation. But anytime that I've ever reported or read that, like right within the first few minutes, that it says the police, ambulance, and FBI are on the scene. It's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Why are they there so quick? Why is the FBI there so quick? Every time it checks out to be one of these type of events. And many times in the end, there is no shooter left to speak on anything. It's just, I'll remind you, Judge Napolitano came on Fox News years and years ago, over a decade ago, and exposed that the feds create dozens of events just to foil them, to take credit for them, to be the heroes. And he put that out there on Fox before they let him loose or whatever. He did it. And it was just, it spoke for itself. He said dozens of events. So, it's no secret at this point. You're gonna have a hard time trying to prove any craziness unless you've got some proof. But then you become a prime target. You better be ready to, in these events, any big event that they're trying to push. If someone tries to get in the way, they'll off them. You gotta remember that as well. It happens every day. But this kid, if this kid that pulled off the event got in there, so to speak, didn't want to take his own life, it's to say a handler or somebody close, the closest one to it, would make sure that he was out. He did get taken out. However, they want to push the narrative. At that point, I guess it really doesn't matter if he shot himself or if they shot him. If he's dead, he can't talk, can't say nothing, can't speak no more. And it's those little details that come out afterwards that can sometimes say a lot on why he was there. But I'm still gathering information on this one. It has all the themes and all the earmarkings of being one of those events. It does. Big time. So, we'll be at here. All right, I'm going to keep on pushing. Got lots to cover here. RIP to the two kids that died in this event. This is horrendous. No one should have to deal with that. Anyone trying to go to service or anything like that. And I truly believe that everyone should be armed. You're going to church. Everyone wants to make sure that they got their Bible on them. Like, well, make sure you got your piece as well. As far as I can tell and say, much love, Ava. Yeah, but you got to have protection. I mean, what is it to have one good person doing their duty as security in the place, or a couple good guys, you know, just sitting stationed in the right spots near the door and just, there for security purposes. I think it would be smart to have guys like that, like anywhere. Anywhere, I don't know. When you take the guns away from the people and you say it's a gun-free zone, that means every person in there is a sitting duck. That means the bad guy can roll in there and mow as many people down as empty all clips and save a couple shots for himself, I guess, at the end. But no one put him down. Like that's just uncalled for, man. That's uncalled for. There should be security. There should be someone that's a right to be armed around to secure the place in that situation. If not two, it would be ideal in a bigger situation to have two. Hey, if no one else wanted to do it, I was at a church. I would step up and do it. During a service, I'll watch the door, watch the whole place. I mean, somebody's got to do it. I mean, the more this happens, people are going to start to see that this can happen anywhere. You have to take this into your own hands. And again, if you're in a state or anything like that that does not allow you to be armed or to protect yourself in certain areas, I won't even go there. I couldn't be there. I mean, you're a sitting duck. Why put yourself in that situation? It's like I don't even want to enter those states, those cities. Every state's different. It's what makes us America. Just, I don't know, man. Look at this next one. This is horrific. And again, an RIP to the young girl here that's lost her life. A pregnant 17-year-old girl gunned down. She was a passenger in a vehicle. And there was road rage in Louisiana. She was pregnant. And the guy in front of him was like brake checking him and doing all this stuff. And like next thing you know, this Barry West, you can see right here, turned and shot into the car. He struck her. He took her life. They put her into basically, she was on life support and they had to pull her off of it after they delivered the baby. Rest in peace, girl. Caitlin Straight, rest in peace. I hope this dude fries. I hope karma catches him quick. Pisses me off so bad. So, we've got this stuff all day, every day in this evil world. I can't much stand this place at all. What it has already become evil everywhere. It's so hard to find good. All right, gonna jump over to some lighter news here, to the weather, and a heads up. Maybe some of you guys know because you're feeling it right now, but this is welcome where I'm at right now. Get out of the heat. We got some fall temperatures rolling in, record-breaking cold temperatures, which may be, I don't know how they're going to spin it. The weather weapon, I don't know what they're going to dial it up to in terms of this winter. Ice storms, heavy snow, that's what they're calling for. If that's the case, man, goodbye summer. it'd be like over. Like these are fall temperature type conditions. I love this type of weather, but I don't know. As long as it don't drop down to like freezing like next month, um, who knows what they're gonna do though? For real, the weather is a weapon, and this past winter wasn't the easiest. Forecast high temperatures are expected to be roughly 10 to 30 degrees below average. That's 30 degrees below average. That's, for a couple weeks. These transitions only last a couple, months until you're full blown into, from summer to fall. Yeah. So I don't know. Hey, enjoy it while you can. As far as I can tell, yeah. You got to start to, I guess, realize that the weather is a weapon. And speaking of weapons, I'm going to jump up to space because the real space wars may have begun. NASA and the Space Force, they are tasked with defending against outer space threats. And they're talking about doing all this anti-satellite stuff using not just ground-based lasers, but also lasers up in space. Now, I put out a video on my channel about this big green laser that was spotted over Ukraine, France. It's like a big beam. Some are saying it could have been a light pillar. Some are saying it could have been Chinese rocket launch. But like the witness descriptions were saying, no, it didn't last long. It was like a beam. What they witnessed in the sky wasn't like it wasn't a fireball like a meteor. So what we have is them saying that, look, we're going to start firing on satellites that we think are rogue, that are weapons. And it was crazy because when I put out this video, I was putting it all together, I was looking back at the reports, and they were from like 12 hours before. 12, 13 hours before. So I go looking, and right there is Elon Musk commenting on this new laser that's in space, and he says lasers in space 13 hours ago. And I'm like, what are the odds that Elon Musk says that, makes a comment like that? And people all over the place are witnessing this beam. If you missed the video, you got to go look at it. They have rolled out a laser, and they show you it. It's on a satellite, and it's rolling around. And this laser is supposed to send information from one point to another. It can go vast distances and all this. But to me, it was like all the timing was like not an accident. Is how I seen it. So, yeah, if you guys are seeing crazy stuff in the skies, let me know. We got to keep track of this stuff. The lasers, the objects, UFOs, whatever you want to call them, UAPs, anything. They're setting the stage for a big show. We've been waiting for this. It looks like definitely NASA, Space Force going to be tied into this front and center. So I'm saying, behind the scenes, behind the curtain, all of the governments of the world are in on this, just as they are, like, largely with everything. Like they're playing us out with all this stuff. But like, just take a step back and look what they all did. We were supposed to be at odds with China this whole time, Russia this whole time, but like all those countries we were still at odds with, they participated in the scam. They locked everything down. They participated in the scam. So some of us just think stupid. We see this and we say, oh, well, then it must have been pre-planned with you too. You had to know everything. And you had to obviously be in on it, which means China, Russia, everybody. All the governments are in on selling out all the people through and through. It's obvious to see. All the rest is just theatrics. Okay, so speaking of theatrics, in the heavens, something's coming. Okay? Yeah. And for real, something's coming. This mysterious, massive object is heading this way that they call Atlas. And this Atlas, I got to drop a new video update on it, all the information on this. The information's changing rapidly, like every couple days. I would like to, if I can get permission from this guy that puts out information on Atlas. He's an astronomer. He has this YouTube channel, and they've got all this data, and he speaks on it. And I'd like to share it one night, but I don't want to do it and catch a copyright strike. Just so you can see and hear from his mouth the details about this. Instead of just hearing it from me and saying, oh, it sounds crazy, conspiracy, blah, 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 whatever. No, you can hear from an astronomer, the guys that are locking onto it, they're like looking at the raw data and talking about it, because that's something. And what he does is he points out the fact that this thing has grown in size. It continues to grow in size. And that I told you about the artificial light features and all that, the trajectory and all that. But the path is something that just is mind-blowing. You talk about things being like 1 in a million, like the odds. Like you would have had to have planned this out, like super intelligence. What I'm saying is it's coming in and it's passing by within 1 AU. 3 key planets in our inner solar system, right on the flat plane of the ecliptic, dropping down in from an area where there's only a 0.005 chance that it's natural, moving faster than any object they've ever witnessed. It doesn't have a tail. It's not surrounded with ice at all. And this is the crazy part, because most comets that come in are outgassing tons and tons of ice and material. And it has to pass through an ice belt too as well, which would feed into that on its way in. They know for sure now that this object making its way in, it has this artificial light source coming from the center, and it's huge, coming in very fast with no tail. It's giving off pure nitrogen, which they say is very odd, because usually if you're going to find like nitrogen, you're going to find like methane and nitrous oxide, all these other things, carbon monoxide, in large amounts together. But not with this. It seems to be a ball. It's missing a tail. It's got an artificial light coming from its front center. It's moving faster than anything that they've ever seen. It's coming right into our territory. And when it gets a close approach, it's going to hide behind the sun. This is from our perspective and only our perspective. If you was on Mars when this thing come by right now, dude, this would be such a close flyby of a comet, dude, that they'd be crapping their pants within 1 AU out of nowhere. And it seems to not be affected by the sun whatsoever. So how can you call it a comet, NASA? That's what other physicists and astronomers are saying. And it's not just the Harvard scientists. There's a lot. They're saying that these details are just, it's the raw data. It's screaming that this is something different, that it's unnatural. And that if it is a comet, it's definitely something that's never, ever even been seen, calculated, or anything before. And this is where they go a step further. They say, if I'm NASA and I'm, any of the space agencies, I'm jumping all over this. I'm like taking the Juno spacecraft that's up there and maneuvering it into an orbit to where it can capture this thing, capture images so they can study it. And he says, what's weird is they've said not a word. And he says their silence is deafening. And it's eerie. It's eerie that they're being so quiet. It's all the astronomers, the independents out here that are tracking and watching this thing and collecting the data that are flipping out, going nuts about this. All NASA said is all it has a tail. It's a comet. That's it. Right? They're hitting it with the instruments and they're seeing what it's outgassing and what it's not, what it is and what it's not. And like NASA's sitting there with their mouth shut. Something very odd is like heading this way, they're telling us. Can't make it up. This is like the real deal. It's there. It's heading this way. Thousands of astronomers and telescopes lock in on this. It's there. It's coming. It's not a made-up story. Okay, so the closer this thing gets, here as the month, in the next 2 months go by, and it gets toward perihelion, this is going to get super interesting. Elenin, Ison, they were interesting passes by. One broke up going around the sun, so they said it pretty much disappeared as it went around the sun. And the other one came through holding the shape of a V, which was nuts. This is crazy for an object this size to come this close to all of our freaking planets, and the little peon idiots here accepting NASA's weak excuse that it's a comet when the thing is obviously not even going to be affected by our sun whatsoever. They've admitted this. Man, starting to feel like the whole Epstein thing. It's like they dropped all the goods in the beginning, but the people were ignorant and didn't even notice. They gave you the flight logs, they showed you all the photos, all this stuff. Like, it's like they're telling you now. When Oumuamua got really close, like right when it was right next to us, they were silent. They said, like they're doing now, that an interstellar object's coming in this way, pique some interest, shut their mouth. Didn't say nothing. Soon as it went by, they started talking. And they were like, oh yeah, that thing was long, cylindrical in nature, metallic in nature. And everybody could confirm it, they could see it. And it picked up speed and lifted up out of here. Oumuamua meaning scout. A scout you send ahead of the army or the bigger ship. That's what you do. It just so happens it's exactly what's happening here. The scout come through, picked up speed, and this isn't conspiracy. This isn't made up. These are the facts, Jack. It too, Oumuamua, was not affected by the sun gravitationally. Did what it wanted. It did what it wanted. So these are astonishing details. that, you wonder why this guy I'm telling you about over here on this YouTube channel, guys like him, are getting like, 250,000 views a day, like on everything they say, because people are paying attention and like they know that this is weird, and these guys are talking. This isn't like NASA. They're actually calling out NASA and speculating, like, why are you not saying anything, doing anything? We even had that Anna Luna, whatever, that politician lady, go on Rogan and even called out and say the same thing, saying that whatever's coming this way is not right. And like, we should at least be studying it. And she even said the same thing. We can pull down Juno and pull it to where it can at least get images and video and in high quality images to study of this thing. And like, they're not saying anything. It's eerie. So now all of a sudden talk of a pickup of space wars, lasers in space all of a sudden, and Elon showing you. I just put the video out. I feel like something's about to happen. They got the weapons there ready. Look, here is what people witnessed. Now, that looks like a beam, just like people described. Some said it moved slightly, and it didn't last long, and then it was gone. It didn't hang around forever in the sky. You didn't see, no one reported seeing like a little itty bitty rocket at the tip of it, blasting through the sky, leaving a trail behind. Nobody said that. You don't see it in none of the images. You don't see a little bitty rocket. You don't see nothing there. Okay, because they've tried to say all types of stuff, that it was a Chinese rocket. Someone tried to say, and people are like, garbage. We saw it all across Europe, and like, it was like it was different. It was different than any other, like, we've seen rocket launches, and even the SpaceX. They have big swirls, that I've shown you. It could have been. I say it could have been a rocket launch, but I just haven't seen the proof of the evidence of it. The other people saying that it could have been a light pillar. Others quickly ruling that out, saying no way. This was like one big huge event, and light pillars come from like, city lights below. They go through the ice crystals in the atmosphere and all that crap, and no way somebody saw in France that happening over Ukraine, and which is valid points. Like, you're only going to see those light pillars and sprites for so far. Like, one event is only going to be seen for so far. Like, not everybody through half of Europe's going to see it. So, again, there is another shot. There's not a rocket on the tip of this thing, like shooting through the sky. No one anywhere said, oh, I mean, in my shot, there's a rocket. No, none of the shots have a rocket. That's why it's like, it matches up to be some kind of phenomenon in the sky. There's another one. Do we see a rocket anywhere? No. No one ever caught the rocket. How is that? I just don't get it if it's a rocket. There's one, like, where? Anywhere in the sky up above us, anywhere. I mean, you got the whole freaking nowhere. Is there a rocket? That looks more like a light pillar from there. I could see why someone would say it, but no, this was witnessed again over half of Europe, and it wasn't a light pillar, as many said. It looked like a beam, but I don't know, man. It's why we ask people, man, like, did you see this? And look, man, they're beaming Elon. The reason I coupled it with the Elon thing is because they're beaming stuff from space. And if they're beaming stuff from space, what's it going to look like? I'm going to imagine just like this. You're not going to be able to make out really the small satellite that's way up there, wherever it's at, that shoots the beam down. Maybe if you're really looking and locked in, you know where it's at and you're tracking it, and it's large enough. Maybe. Oh, dude, man, this is about to get nuts. We're gonna have to start tracking all this stuff. Like, they're probably not even gonna let us. Like, they're not already. I can tell you, they've got military satellites up there. There's no way that we're gonna have to find a way to do this, because now that they're arming them, like, everybody has to be aware. The laser can zap anyone at any moment from space. We've entered a crazy time. Yeah. All right. Well, where are we at here? CERN. Yeah, all the weaponry. CERN Atlas is active. Yeah. Well, I want to mention that the U.S. proposes adding copper to the critical minerals list. And if they do this, it's going to go through the roof. Price of copper will go through the roof. And just a heads up, man, it's going to affect everything. When they make this move, it's subtle little moves like this that cause spikes, influxes in the market that you didn't see coming. But when I get to the whole gold thing here in just a second, you're gonna see some you're gonna see what's going on here. Everything follows the big dog gold. Yeah, it did look like a portal, bro. And without a doubt, they're doing some of that out there. Okay, I appreciate that. Yeah, Dabu7 at yahoo.com. Got anything to get to me. So much going on out there. Man, if I could, if I had the means, I'd be getting a telescope. I mean, it's on the list if I can never achieve it. And I'm gonna start locking into these things. I'm out here in a perfect environment for it. I can lock into to a lot of crazy things. Definitely that moon. And whatever else is in the night sky. Yeah, I feel like we need to do that. But this is copper. I told you, when storms going down, guys are stealing the copper out of electric lines. When storms come through and the power goes out, guys are going out and downing the power lines to cut the copper, to cut the wire and take off with it, and then steal the copper. We're there already. So copper thieves are going to have a hell of a, maybe that's part of the plan. Maybe they're like, screw it, just let the copper thieves come in and steal all the, I don't know. That will cripple the grid. If the grid goes down, you better be ready. But if the grid goes down, what do you do? If the grid's down for like weeks and months, you don't think that these guys, I think it'd get picked apart like vultures coming and picking apart a carcass. I think people will start cutting down these copper lines all over the place, expecting the government to come in and fix everything anyway. And what does it matter when everything's been shut down for weeks and everything's in chaos? I don't know, man. Thank you, John, for the coffee. Appreciate it to the fullest. Check this out. An outage at the largest U.S. inland refinery since pump prices soaring across the Midwest, at least. Prices here, man. Just all of a sudden I start to think of winter. If this is going to be a really bad winter, gas prices like natural gas and all that are going to go through the roof. But you can see here, average price of gas out west, man. You guys are paying for it. I get it gets cheaper, obviously, if down south, Texas, everything around Texas. But then you have just Michigan, Illinois getting hit hard by this. I don't know what the price is. So I mean, it's got to be up in the it's in this red zone, so it's got to be like 335 or above, at least in those areas. So that's a spike, above other areas that are like, $3 or less. I don't know. The gas prices across the board different all over the place, but man, if we go to war, get into this major war, like it looks like we might, especially with Venezuela, because they're turning. Look, man, people are asleep at the wheel like I've never seen in my life. They just don't seem to care. We are fast approaching a war that's going to involve our home front like you've never seen before, the southern border like you've never seen before. As soon as these cartels get involved, and they're already involved, but like the shooting and the battle really hasn't begun in terms of bombs being dropped, drones taking people out. The moment these drones start striking cartels, like full scale, and taking out leaders and all that in Mexico and this and that, like it's going to be tied into this operation. Okay, it's obvious. This operation has our military stretched all the way down around Baja, onto the other side in the Pacific, onto the other side of Colombia, okay, into the Caribbean, where we have destroyers. We've sent destroyers and warships. Like, people are just sleeping. Like, you don't do this for nothing. Poseidons. Maduro's now trying to counter it by sending like thousands of troops toward the border of Colombia because he feels like that's where they're going to pour in from. I'm not sure what they're going to do here. They're going to try, I don't know what they're going to do, but like they could just start with decapitation strikes, like trying to just take him out quick, like right out the gate. Because once it's done, it's done. If not, it drags on. It just becomes another drug out war. They really want Venezuela bad because Venezuela is the oil capital of the world. Once I realized this a while back, it made me really think, like, then, what's so special? Like, Saudi Arabia is like second or third. But, like, why'd they get rights to be called the oil barons and all that? Because they're really not. The granddaddy of them all is Venezuela. And we've been, like, boycotting them or whatever this whole time. Of course, other countries, China and others, like, leaning on them for deals in oil, and then Venezuela, in turn, leaning on China for military support. Like, right now, they're actually calling on China like, yo, we're getting surrounded down here. Do y'all got our back? And in the meantime, Trump's up here like, oh, yeah, me and Xi Jinping are good buddies. We get along great. Everything's going to be just fine. He said he's going to stop sending fentanyl to the country, and I'm going to take him for his word on it. Like, dude, we're so done for. We're so screwed. We're so done. And there's no big arsenal of patriots to rise to the occasion anywhere, as far as the eye can see. There's like nothing to gravitate toward, nothing. That's what MACA was made for, to come in and suck all that up like a magnet and to screw us in this way. And it's working, unfortunately, because there's no cavalry coming. It's on us and us alone to be the difference. And at this point, everyone's just like a deer in headlights. Like, there's no protests. There's no nothing. Nothing. There's no flexing of rights. There's like nothing anywhere. In terms of that, The U.S. used to be very active throughout different generations of protests in the streets and different movements, civil rights movements, and all that. Like, we're dead, done right now. Nothing but stage George Soros protest, BLM garbage. Do you see around here anymore? And it has no true meaning besides chaos and to take away our country. Which it's worked. It's been working again because people don't rise to the occasion. Like, there's only so much you can just sit back and watch. I have somebody all the time that just always comments, watch and pray, watch and pray. Well, no, I get sick of hearing it. To be honest with you, like, because that's what got us here. You don't need to just sit there and watch and pray. You need to get active. But everyone's scared to do it. So because everyone's scared to do it, country falls. Just that simple. When the righteous fail to do anything to stop the evil will run rampant. That's all it takes, is for good people to do nothing. That's where we're at. I'm telling you, man, there's been cats out here. There's cats out here, man, that are willing to rise to the occasion and do things, but I don't know. I guess it just wasn't meant to be. I guess you better have a plan for yourself, and you better have a place prepared in the wilderness, because if you don't, the farms, jobs, everything about to be touched by all this stuff. So let me go to the next one. I want to put a heads up here for anyone that's on Temu. If you guys have been buying off of Temu, it's scandalous. Scammy as it gets. It's a Chinese Amazon, and what you're going to get is a headache and ripped off. Well, you see, take it from this guy right here. Guy on YouTube threw away tens of thousands of dollars buying a Bugatti off of Temu from China. It showed up in a box crate that they had to tear down. They got down to the inside, started to tear it apart. What he realized is that it's made entirely of foam. So he went out of their way and got a huge chunk of foam, and they carved out a Bugatti, painted it up, did all that, and shipped that, and got $30,000 for it. And because it's scammy China and Temu, you're not getting your money back, and you're done for. So you're crazy to think that you're ever going to, come on. A real Bugatti, one rim entire, costs $30,000. Stupid money. Okay? So, again, this place is so evil. Anyone throwing around this kind of money and like not helping anyone or anything is like, they're not making it out of here. It's part of the test. You get big money put in your lap. You've got to do righteous things with it. You got to do the right things with it. Not do what all these demons are doing. And at some point, somebody's got to come along and got to fund the righteous warriors out there, or it's just never going to happen. Like, that's the only hope that we've got, or the people got, like, is that a righteous billionaire just says screw it, and like he's ready to play the role of the good guy and like accept the role and like know they get killed at any time and all this stuff, and like just do it. Do the damn thing. Rally the troops and Illuminati. We're running out of time here. But I don't put much hope in that. It seems like it's everybody better fend for themselves, and you better have prepared yourself for a place for yourself in the wilderness, just as it says in your Bible. metaphorically, you should have done this for yourself. What's coming is no joke, if you ask me. Yeah, it's true, Steve. Yeah, yeah. Well, guys like you and me, he said they don't want to help guys like you and me. They want us stuck in rags. It seems that way, but, guys like you and me be the ones that go out here and actually do this and will put their life on the line and do it. But, you know, forget all that because, again, everybody's got to play the part, but people are chicken shit out here. And that's the truth. That's the truth. That's why your country's dying and falling apart. Yep. Everybody took an oath to defend this place against threats, foreign and domestic. Don't have the kahunas to defend the homeland. They don't. Man, you see it. You know where the problem's at. And I guarantee you there's people that hear my voice that took that oath and know where the threat is here. Yeah. I'm not saying you got to go kamikaze, you got to go do something stupid or anything. I'm just saying, like, people, like, what kills me is, like, we're in a position here where, like, on the weekends or, like, whenever, like, our youth in places should be getting trained up by patriots. Like, the adult level of Boy Scouts here or something. Like, get them trained up to stay sharp, defend this country, and keep it honest, take down tyrants, and all this other stuff, but there's none of it. None of it. So you're screwed. We're screwed. Cash, thank you for the coffees. Legendary as always. I appreciate it. Much love. God bless. Thank you, Cash Heart, for the support. Few of you always come through, even if no one else does. And I appreciate you. You seem to be the only ones that always come through, which is, I can't thank you enough. Because without you, no one would come through. It's just the way that it is out here in this world. And you wonder why there's so much crime. I mean, evil runs it. So, I mean, it's not a place that wants to let or plans to let the righteous excel. This is a very low energy vibration, low vibration place. So crime is going to go through the roof. And it is, especially in these conditions, man. When you've got what you want to call inflation going through the roof, when you've got jobs getting wiped out, when you've got people going on social media every day crying and freaking out because they can't afford to live. Things are bad. So people are going to resort to crime or things that are illegal, to get money. It's just the way that it is, man. It's not rocket science, right? So they know this. Add in the drugs and all this other stuff, which they help fuel and bring here. But don't depend on Trump to stop that ever. I know more people that have been killed in this life by fentanyl and drugs than any other thing. And there's no real true war on that. There's not. It's all a sham. It's all a lie. They help facilitate the whole thing. Trump sit there and say, "Oh, she's gonna promise he's gonna stop sending the fentanyl." Like, it's just ridiculous. But how many millions of dumbasses out there heard Trump say that and accept that at face value? Huh? And then turn around and 2 days later, their son, their daughter, their child is dead from fentanyl. Then what you got to say to your Gentile Messiah? You still gonna defend him? Bet some dumbass as well. It's ridiculous. Look, well, I'm at a point to where I see through this that clearly with laser beam eyes. Like around here, there's just not that many people at this point want to do anything. So, I predict we're going to get blindsided by a huge event, and because people just went off into la la land, they're going to get completely ran over by this. Huge event's going to come. So, like, crime's going to go through the roof even more. I mean, it's going to become a way of living for almost everyone out there when you're in like poverty type conditions, when the economy really breaks down. That's all part of this great reset that's about to happen. That has not happened yet. That's going to happen on Trump's watch. It's what the whole Mar-a-Lago Accord is for. It's what it's made. It's what it talks about. What I'm about to show you here in a second, it's going to throw down what I believe is our timeline. And it gives us, I'm going to tell you right now, it gives us a little window. More than what I thought. I'm hoping before the big event happens here. And it explains it itself. Okay. But when this all goes down, gangs and rings of thieves and all that stuff, it's going to happen more commonplace than you know. AI is going to start helping these thieves. It's going to start helping them to hack and to hold hostage places. And it's already happening. You can see here a mystery hacker used AI to automate unprecedented cyber crimes in a rampage here that went through behind the popular Claude chatbot. It was unprecedented. Went on a campaign targeting nearly 20 companies. So the hacker was able to manipulate Claude to pinpoint companies that were vulnerable to the cyber attack. Then it generated the malicious code to pilfer sensitive data and to catalog all this information that could be used for extortion. The stolen data included social security numbers, bank details, patients' sensitive medical information, everything you could think of. Anything that goes to them dang computers, they got and can get. And this is crazy because one human mastermind controlling, giving AI commands here can turn this into a nightmare. I mean, we need some good guys doing this. Anybody up for the task? Anybody out there? I'm down to learn and to do things. Anyone's down for this has the knowledge. Like, I don't know how to train AI to get to machine learn and all that, but I'm willing, I'm open-minded enough. Once we get that figured out, then we can just start dropping the data in it and start training it to do. It can't be much harder than the stuff that I've already gotten into in terms of trading bots and all this other stuff. I mean, you got to go in and you got to build them from the bottom up, and you got to get them going, and you got to do everything. Got to put all the commands into it and everything and what it does. So, like, well, there's a will, there's a way. Like, somebody has to, again, be willing to do these things, to just sit there. Everybody doing nothing but just sitting there. AI is everybody that sits there and does nothing, is taking over everything. They're taking over the farm, and I just don't understand this. Like, this is a lie. They're trying to say that 100,000 people out there for like there's 100,000 job openings because they can't find workers. And I'm like, how can that be when you have people all over the place that don't have jobs? And then they turn around and say, well, the Americans don't want to work for the peanuts. That's why they're used to paying the migrants cheap wages. And Americans don't want to work for that. Well, like, there's got to be some kind of like middle ground where you guys meet. Has to be. All the illegal migrants that you were paying are getting ran out of here now because they were here illegally. And it seems to me that, like, if you were paying illegals to work here, like, can't you get in trouble for that? Like, it would seem. But hire your freaking fellow Americans that need jobs, man. And fellow Americans that need jobs, they need to take them instead of, like, depending on the government. I don't know what you're sitting around waiting on. Universal basic income or something crazy, but check this out, man. The farming jobs getting wiped out. And this is real deal. It's scary real deal. Because some of these machines are, it's an advancement. And it's good. It's good in its own ways. To where it is doing things that humans were doing. It's taking that job. That there's no other way around it. That's always going to be the downside here. AI is coming in and replacing everything. I'm telling you, it's lightweight going to replace a ton of people in everything. So now they're running AI powered harvesters, drones, precision farming equipment, all this, and it's taking over. In some ways, this is good. In some ways, it's bad. If you're the farmer, once you make the investment here, like, you're not having to pay out, humans and having to deal with all the humans at that point. And insurance costs, which is a huge thing when you're a business. You don't have to pay none of that. Oh, no employees. You don't have to worry about people calling in sick, missing, none of that. You see, from a business perspective, from the top down, you have to be willing to put yourself in the shoes and see it that way. Because regardless if you would do it that way or not, this is how they're going to do it. Okay? And you need to realize that. And they're going to say the heck with the human at this point. It pisses me off. It should piss off every human. When you realize we're getting weeded out. Like, there's a plan. It's just the plan to roll out AI. By default, it's going to take us out. By 2027, it's going to decimate us. It was a couple streams ago, a guy gave the perfect example. He's like, the company that I run today, he goes, just last year, 350 people. 350 people. That's a huge amount of people. 350 people ran a business. And it only takes 3 people to run it now. 347 people just got put out in the street without a job in a blink of an eye because of AI in one instance. Now you multiply that times the thousands of thousands of companies out there across the board. It's bad. All the biggest companies are going full blown robotic and AI. Your Bezos companies, your Tesla's companies, they're already going in this direction. Slowly but surely weeding people out as the new stuff comes in, or as people, they're not, if people are leaving or quitting because of whatever reasons, like, they're not hiring new. Hardly at all. AI, man. So here's one. AI being used by YouTube. And as some are saying, they're secretly doing it because no one recalls an announcement unless it was hidden somewhere in fine print and people have said it could have been. No one's found it yet, but it's happening. Multiple channels saying that when they do videos or they go live, they upload videos to multiple platforms or go live to multiple platforms. There's something happening with the YouTube footage. And it's almost like an oil painting is how they describe it. And it's like, it looks AI. And like, there's tons of channels that have broke this down, just like this one right here in this video. He does it perfect. He says, look, because I do this all the time, upload videos because something's not right. And long story short, like, they discovered that, yeah, AI is being used to manipulate footage in their videos without their consent, without like them wanting it there, or being able to say no. Like, it's a big issue. And it's like, oh no. Um, it's what they call upscaling. And AI is doing it, rendering it. And it's crazy. He gives all types of evidence here and proof, but I've seen it myself. It's out there all over the place. And I'm going to keep it pushing here. We have Cracker Barrel caving to the public pressure into Trump, switching back their beloved old-timer logo, which it should be. Like, in my opinion, the new logo just absolutely sucked. And it just, some things you just don't change. I look at, yeah, some things I thought they were going to show the other one, but they've already got rid of it and it's gone. They probably don't want people to even remember that they just did this and want to sweep this under the rug. But this CEO or whatever is catching all kinds of hell, and she should, because yeah, look, I was talking to an old mountain boy out here today about this. He just brought it up out of nowhere and said something about it, and he was like, "Yeah." He mentioned the menu when they went there the last time. Like, everything had went to crap. And I don't know. People see this as a victory, but like, the menu's got to go back to, like, I don't know. Everything's got to be like the way it was, as many people say. Not this leftist twist thrown on it. Like, keep it the way it was. Don't go reinventing the wheel. It worked. A lot of people like it, the food the way it was, the old country cooking. I don't know. It could have been some kind of free advertisement tactic. Good point. It's got everybody talking about it, don't they? But ever since I was a kid, and it was always the place that you walk in. They got the chairs out front. It had that old time feel, and had the little store inside of it that made it special. That I thought made it unique. It had that. It had that going for it. You know what I'm saying? Always did. So when you go messing with what worked, people ain't gonna take too kindly to it. Either way, new logo's gone. And I'm sure that one will stay for many years to come. At this point. This one is about jobs in a huge hiring scam exposed here. As you can see, these sites caught hiding the high-paying jobs from skilled American workers in order to hire foreigners. But they got caught. So now the website is sharing these available jobs to Americans. This is nuts. Jobs now. This is how bad this has been rigged. And you wonder why Americans can't get jobs anywhere and all this stuff, and like, everybody's hurting. It's been a setup. It's like staged, man. Like, this is like illegal, man. This is like treasonous. Good. not give it to Americans, give it to illegals coming here. Like, again, that's treason. Like, you should be charged for that. Hiring anyone illegal is illegal. They're here illegally, and like you're like facilitating that. See, if there was righteous people in charge anywhere, any righteous judges anywhere, like this is the type of stuff that would be prosecuted and brought down. You know, bring down the gavel. But no, like there's no righteousness anywhere in the system. That's why I feel the whole thing's going to be taken right onto the beast system, and like not many are going to even revolt. They're going to go right onto it. It's scary. How do you contend with that? I won't be able to, like, any pure blood or anyone that wants to, like, escape the mark of the beast, like, you're not going to be able to live in society at all. Like, all these people will rat you out, snitch you out. You will be made like they're already doing. You will be the extremist, especially if you don't get the next round of jabs. Like, they will have, can't you see that they will have every excuse in the world? Look, if I was a tyrant wanting to clamp down and do everything that they've done thus far, and I finally wanted to seize control, I finally wanted to have the moment where we can clamp down worldwide. Well, I just ran a beta test for it, right? Got all this data, and like all we gotta do is release a deadly event. It's it. It's over. You got everything. You lock it down cold. At gunpoint, man. If somebody doesn't want to listen, they're going to get shot and killed. That's what they're going to do. I'm telling you, this is coming. I don't know how else to describe it besides Noah's Ark. That, like, God told Noah to go build an ark, and, like, no one else was listening. Everyone they watched Noah go and build his ark, and he told everybody, blah, blah, blah. Nobody else built it. And because they didn't, they all suffered and got swept away. Right? That's what this feels like. Thank you, Rebel, for the coffee. Much love. God bless. Huge event is about to happen. I made it clear. I felt like I've been spending all these years, past 5 years, getting ready for it, and like nobody around me is getting ready for it. And like everybody's going to get washed away. It's how I feel. Like, because you're going to get caught in the flood, in the society, in the chaos. You fail to go and prepare yourself a spot in the wilderness. No one else is going to do it for you, man. That's for sure. You had to take it upon yourself, but I think everybody should know by now. We're so close to this event that I feel like it's like within a year where I'm about to show you. But before we get there, I do want to point out some hope here that the next millionaire class, I truly do believe, is what they're talking about right here. The next wave of people that find a way to get by are, well, the people that are out there doing the stuff that needs to get done. I'm going to tell you that the everyday handyman becomes the next millionaire. That's it. It's crazy. But that's what's about to happen. If it hasn't already begun. It has begun. It has. So this is a perfect story here. And I want to read through it here real quick just so you can see. Okay. This is very serious. And I want you to see where this is all going. It says here on the farm, the repair and maintenance is endless. Some jobs we can handle ourselves, but many others require a tradesman. a mechanic, a plumber, HVAC technician, electrician, a contractor. When I moved to Texas, he says, I was shocked at the cost of hiring them. Now pay attention here. Listen here. Gasoline was half the price of California. Groceries were cheaper. But when I needed to install an air conditioner at my home in Texas, the bill was higher than when I installed a massive rooftop unit in Echo Park, Los Angeles. An installation that required a crane and even shutting down part of Sunset Boulevard. So how could this be? The answer became clear when he sat back and watched the flow of life around him. In the restaurant that they owned, the customers who seemed most financially comfortable, the ones who spent freely on extra desserts or that tipped generously, are all tradespeople. We have a young family who comes in regularly. The husband is an electrician. He's booked so solid that he's trying to hire help. Another family comes in every Saturday. The husband is a contractor and a heavy equipment operator. He works on even Christmas Day, yet they shop and they eat generously week after week. When I see them spending that way, I see the money flowing right back into our community, into small restaurants, local stores, and businesses like mine, which is good. Okay? His point here is like this next millionaire class is going to be the plumbers, the HVAC techs, the septic contractors, installers, electricians. Even if they're not licensed, the guys that know how to do it, man. If you're out somewhere in the middle of wherever and like you need something done and like you know of a guy around that like knows how to do it because you just know that's the guy, then that's the guy. You're always going to have some knockoffs out there, some guys that suck at it, that try to do this, that just suck. All right. But like there's guys out there that are legit in this field. I gotta say, just through everything that I've been through throughout all the years, I forced myself into a position to where I had to know almost every single one of these things. Learn it. Didn't know it, but I had to learn it. Right? Didn't know, concrete, anything. I had to learn it. Luckily, I had some buddies that knew a little something about it that could teach me a few things about it, but I didn't have crews or any of the help, any of that. But I had to learn it and then do it. Okay? And all these things. Running plumbing, had to learn it. They had to do it. Septic, had to run it. Had to do it. Running gas lines. I mean, it goes on and on. Every single thing that you can think of. Building an entire freaking house. Had to learn it. Had to do it. No help. Okay, so the roof. Something's wrong. Had to learn it. Had to do it by myself, minus one guy that helped me. And I look down and he's right there. Gary McGinnis. Oh my God, God. The way God works with me, the synchronicities are insane. They're insane. I get to that part of the story, open my eyes and look down. There's Gary right there in the chat. He's the only soul that helped me in doing any. Thank you, brother. You taught me a lot. And he is definition of a tradesman type dude that knows things just like that. I'm telling you, that's the stuff that will pay, just like this when no one else is around. Like, oh, got a plumbing issue? Well, you're going to want to call the guy. If you are that guy, you have guaranteed work in your community. You see what I'm saying? Like, you're valuable at least. air conditioners, all this stuff. Like, I didn't know a whole lot about that. Learn it myself, man. Um, starting from, the bigger units, all the way to mini splits and stuff now. Installation of all of it, all of it. Everything you think of. So, like, everything it entails to live, right? Like, if you have that knowledge, it's valuable. Trust me. It's just, you can be able to help other people, regardless with it. Yeah. Anyhow, the stats are sobering here on where this is going. All right. Let me continue here. Okay. AI can write code. It can draft articles. It can mimic our stuff. It cannot install a septic tank. It cannot diagnose your air conditioner, why it won't start and all this stuff, or trace a faulty wire through a wall, bust up concrete, replace something underground, any of that. It can't do it. So these are places we are going to be needed, in all these areas. That reality, not going to change. So listen to this. Over half of America's skilled trade workforce is over 50 years old. A massive share are set to retire in the next decade, the next 10 years. So for every new tradesperson entering the workforce, there are 20 job openings. Okay? This means by 2030, nearly 80 million tradespeople are going to retire, while only 40 million new workers are going to enter the force. Already, HVAC companies report more than 100,000 jobs unfilled, with projections going up to 225,000 within 5 years. Plumbers, a shortage of 500,000 by 2027 is what they're calling for. A shortage of these jobs. Like, I mean, are people dropping like flies? I mean, what is really going on here? No one wants to work? Or what? Like these are the areas people are going to have to go into if you want to survive as a human, man. It's nuts. Electricians, the demand is growing at 3 times the average rate of other jobs. And I know it personally. And I've learned a lot about electric, just here on my journeys. In one of the main electric guys down this neck of woods, they're around the clock. They're 24/7. They don't get a day off. They're working hard. They're constant. That's all they say is it's constant. Constantly going. And it's crazy. Electricity is such a critical thing. It can be weaponized big time. I had a talk with one of these guys down here, and it's set up where if you want the local grid to connect to your house or your building, that you got to jump through all these hoops, for code and all this. And it's got to be inspected and this and that. And, every light switch or every outlet's got to be this way and that way. Everything's got to be by code or you don't get electric, right? And he told me it's all politics. He would rub his fingers together. He'd say it's all politics out there. Talking about money. It's like, okay, all politics, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, you pay some money, like you can get some things, but like you don't want to pay any money. Like it's all money hungry, it seemed, and it was just like, what the hell? It was just like, okay, um, if you go off grid where I'm at, they don't have this control over you. You see, like you have to jump over their hoops, through their hoops, just to get the power hooked up anywhere. It's got to be a certain, build. You got to go through all these codes. But like, if you want to just build whatever you want, wherever you want, like a cabin or something like that, and you still want electric, like you're gonna have to like bow down to some of these things they say. But if you want to just do it your way and go off grid with solar, you don't have to deal with them. It's just crazy because anybody that's got to connect to the grid, you got to bow down to them. I mean, that's what he said. He's just like, dude, he's like, we're like the masters around here. Like, without any power, you're dead. If you want to screw with us, we cut your power off, you're done. It's like, yeah, that's awesome. You ain't doing that to me, fool. Like, these dudes are on a power trip. And if that's was one little area in this country, I'm telling you, this whole country is corrupt as it gets. When it comes to all the stuff. You wonder why all the big city, everything's got to be by this code and that code. You got to have a license for this and for that. It's all money. Just like when you go and you buy something, you look at the receipt and they're like, oh yeah, $2 to the local school, $5 to the local roads. Like what? Like you let them get away with something, they'll just keep on. Kathy, thank you so much for the coffees. Rebel, everybody out there, much love again. D'Angelo says, awesome sunset in San Diego right now. Well, I hope you're enjoying that. I bet you do see some killer sunsets off the coast over there, man. No, I just wanted to point those things out about AI. Try to keep pushing. Let me get to the gold revaluation. This is a big one. This is also dubbed the Mar-a-Lago Accord. What this means is this is big. This may give us our timeline here of when the event's going to go down. Okay? Pay attention to this one. Trump has just appointed a new governor, Stephen Miron, into the Federal Reserve. Okay? We have Jerome Powell leaving in early 2026. And they go through all the governors, the Fed governors, and they select a new person to run the Fed. They say this man is positioning to take that spot, almost like taking the Pope position inside the church there, which is Powell's spot, the top spot inside the Fed. Moran, if he gets in there and gets this, it would be a game changer. And what they're saying is this is where the whole plan of Trump's reset kicks in. It happens as soon as this goes down. That if this guy gets into this position, everything is going to go into motion for the reset. Okay? Now, back up a second. Jerome Powell is in office till early next year. I'm trying to see. I thought I'd give it an exact date here. March. Looking to see here. I don't know the exact. I think it's March, but either way, he's out. A new guy's in, and if this guy gets in, they're saying they're gonna go along with this plan here to reevaluate gold, which would mean that gold could just be reevaluated up to like who knows what, $5,000 at least, easily $4,000 from where it sits right now. But they're talking anywhere from $5,000 to $8,000 per ounce the moment that this happens. Okay, I'm going to tell you that this is the plan. Right? I told you, I've been warning you about this the whole time. No one else is talking about it. No other channel. No one's speaking on this. No one has been. Okay? But this is the real deal. Right? Now, we also don't know where our gold's at in Fort Knox. That's a huge game changer. If that's missing, that changes everything by a huge degree. Big time. If it's in there, that's one thing. But they still have yet to show us that. So just remember, soon as this guy gets in there, so this is what they're planning. Soon as Jerome Powell's out, new guys in, they're going to try to pivot to revalue gold. And it's going to weaken the dollar, which is what they want. It's going to strengthen gold at that point. And that's where we're at. Gold's going to take off. The ripple effects will be enormous. You know, if it jumps up to like 8,000, the closer you get to, 5,000, it will be a first psychological barrier. And then next would be like 10. You cross 5, all eyes be put on 10. You cross $10 per ounce, gold is off to the races, and it's going to change everything. It's going to change absolutely everything because all the other metals follow gold. Silver will end up jumping out and following. Copper, which I just told you earlier, they're looking about putting it in a precious basket and all that. All these metals are going to spike. Like nothing's coming down. Is this what people voted for? Like nothing's coming down. And look, all the tariffs on India and all that stuff just went into effect. People have no clue because a lot of these people are not realizing the tariff stuff means they're paying a higher price for the goods. They're just oblivious to it, or they don't care. Find it hard to believe that they don't care. I'm seeing too many people going on social media, breaking down, crying because the world is falling apart. They have to choose between gas and groceries. This tells me, my takeaway from this is, look at this. Moran brings Trump's reset to the Fed. It's right there. The writing is on the freaking wall. This tells me, per what they're telling you right here for any eyes to see, this dude gets in there, this all goes into motion. Like, this is where the reset would really, really kick in. So you're talking spring of next year, which gives you some time. It's a window. Before a huge event happens. Because a huge event would have to kick this whole thing off. That's the thing they don't mention in all of this. That there has to be a catalyst. Like, there has to be some kind of catalyst event. Which we're sure to see. Here's one. The FDA yanks the COVID shots. Emergency use authorization rescinded after all these years of being mandated and lied about. So RFK coming out saying, look, we're fulfilling one of the promises here, and this is done. So that's pretty big. Yeah, pretty big there when none of it, all this changes though if a real deadly event happens, and it's going to. It's going to. It sucks, man. It's going to be, I truly see this as what's going to end everything. It's going to end everything. It's going to wipe our way of life out. It's going to end our way of life for anyone, any pure blood out there. I can see the end. I can see clearly. And I can see exactly how it's going to unfold. And there's nothing that anyone can do to stop it at this point, because no one's doing anything. You just wait. You wait. I don't even want to be right about this one. When a day happens, when you wake up, and it all begins. You remember all the nights I sat here and told you, all the times I warned you this was coming. I don't know what comes first, cyber attacks, EMPs, any of that. But I know when they play this card, this deathly card of a real pandemic, that it's over. It's over. There is no fighting back. There is no nothing. You will have to resort to a place in the wilderness to ride this out from there. There's no other way. You come in contact with any civilization, they're gonna look, if you're not marked and can show that you're marked, then you're not safe. You're considered a threat, and that's what we all become. I can't stress it enough because it's the biggest thing of your life, all of our lives. It's the most game-changing. It's bigger than 9/11. It's bigger than anything that's ever happened. The closest thing that comes to it is these lockdowns that we went through, and obviously it was a beta test. You beta test for a real event. You don't beta test for nothing. So anyone, again, that keeps us falling back asleep at the wheel, like, you need not ignore this. You're gonna regret it with everything in your soul. You better have something prepared. If you're taking all this time to relax and have fun and enjoy life, you better take a little bit of time to prepare. I've taken all this time to prepare. And anyone that's done that, I say you take a little bit of time to relax, enjoy life, get it in. It is a balance, because you're never going to be able to do things again. If you enjoy going to Kings Island or the park, or getting out and going to places with the family, doing things, going walking the beach, doing all that, get out and do it. Because once all this happens, you will never do it again. And there's nothing tonight or ever that I could ever warn you about that's any more important than that event. What's coming, which you should know in the pit of your stomach. I'm right. And it's coming. You should feel it. You should know this. Your soul should. That it's coming. To ignore it would be the stupidest thing you ever did. So again, if you've been living it up, enjoying life all these past few years, and you haven't done nothing, you got a chance here. And again, on the other side of the coin, get out, get them bucket lists. If you are secure, if you did take the time to do it, enjoy some things. Just as I said, when they lock this place back down, common sense says you will never enjoy those things again. You were barely able to do anything when they did this whole beta. You couldn't go anywhere without having to mask up. You couldn't even hit the road without having your essential papers. Right? See, I don't forget. You just imagine how tyrannical it will be. Real deal. All these strike teams, all these ICE people signing up right now will all be used against us. Is anyone out there telling you this? I don't know of a soul warning people of this right now. Like this to this degree. No one. I'm pounding it away because I'm telling you, my soul is screaming it. This is the message you all need. You better prepare. Maybe it's because it's coming quicker than I even wanted to, but or just brush it off like it's nothing. I'll warn you now, every one of you that brush it off like it's nothing, like, oh my God, he always talks, wish he would quit talking about this. You're going to suffer the worst. Shame on you for not doing anything for your families. If you're solo, it's on you. I mean, but anyone that's got family and didn't prepare, all the knowledge that you got here, that everyone else around you lacks, to do nothing with it, to squander that moment. Ridiculous. And I want to hear about, oh, we don't have money, funds to do this. I had everything taken from me, everything, and I made it happen. Where there's a will, there's a way. All right? I gave up everything for the past 5 years of my life to survive what's coming again. I'll make it well known. And I may not even survive it, but at least give friends and family a shot at survival. No one else is doing it. No one else is going to do it. Then when disaster does strike, you have people like Gavin Newsom out there, which they'll probably, they're projecting to be, Democratic runner for president this next time. He, if you recall, has been caught scamming fire money off the people. Him and his wife made a fund, and like the money has never been sent out to anyone. Like none of the people out here in these places are seeing any of the money. So it's a scam at the highest levels. So now we go and we see it gets worse. And when we look at the fine print, people really got to start paying attention. And again, we do. It's like I'm preaching to the choir, but it's the rest of the millions of dumbasses out here that just don't listen, that don't care, because that's what they are. They don't do nothing. They're not proactive with anything. And as long as it's like when a bully's around, if the bully keeps bullying you and you don't check him and bust his nose and break his nose off his face, he's going to keep doing it to you. Okay. So sometimes you got to get proactive. And you got to stop the madness. Well, in this instance, we have caught these charities, if that's what you want to call them, putting in the fine print that, like this one right here, Fire Aid announced that they received funds from $4.8 million of $4.8 million that they dedicate to the health and housing of the people that suffered fire damage. And it says it noted on its website that whites need not apply. In order to qualify for the grant through Green Line Housing, applicants must be Black or Hispanic. The same is true for Black Freedom Fund, a Black Lives Matter era nonprofit dedicated to fighting systematic racism and blah, blah, blah. Okay, the $7.6 million that they have, they stated in a grant proposal document, it would only assist groups led and controlled by Black people and primarily serving Black people. Okay, which is crazy. Like, look, this stuff just gets out of hand. Like, and thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. Thank you for the super chat. What if you've got, Asian, white, Latino, all these people living down there on the strip, got their stuff wiped out in the Palisades. You're going to say, oh, it can only go to a certain color. I mean, it's as racist as it gets. What if, just by chance, and this is where a big part of the scam kicks in, what if, only, let's just say, we don't know, what if, only 5% of the population there was Black? They had their stuff wiped out. What does that mean? That means that you know this, and it seems like you're just gathering all this money and sitting on it. And like, I haven't seen a single person come forward yet, not even a black person, saying that they helped them. Can we find one? There you go. Let's find one, just one, that proves that they helped them. Because all these scams are just pocketing it, and then they're going on there and they're being completely racist about all the crap. We need justice across the board. Like, you know this. Like, we're all in this together. Every color, every race, every background. We don't need division at this levels. Like, yes, our black brothers and sisters need the help too, of course. But like, to cut out any other people, it's like just garbage, man. And to specifically target some and say, like, whites, you need not apply. Like, dude. Like, really? Like, you already know that, like, I mean, any other instance, you can see the racism full blown on it. Thank you, Nicole, for the coffee. But that's the way that the Dems have set this whole thing up in a lot of these places. They want you to hate the white man, hate me, hate Tabu7, hate him, ban him. Hate him, he's a far right-wing extremist. All this other garbage. Yeah. They call you names and they do all these things, right? Whenever they start calling you an extremist, you know they're scared of you. Let me jump on to this next one. This is man, this is an interesting one. I got to give an RIP to the brother, Kurt Cobain. Man, I was a teenager, 14, when he died. Wasn't even driving yet. I'll never forget Kurt Cobain, just Nirvana, Smells Like Teen Spirit, all that. Nevermind. Classic albums. Made great music, great rock music, legendary music. Always thought, and we were just kids back then, but we thought my buddies, that I came up with, we listened to everything. I had skaters in my group, punks that listened to rock. I had guys that did the rap, like I would everything, every background you could think of. We had a unique crew that I came up with. It just had a mix of everything, and we listened to everything, which was cool. Our parties played all types of rock, rap. You'd hear a little bit of everything. You hear Metallica, you hear Sublime, you hear Tupac, you hear whatever. You hear Kurt Cobain, Nirvana. It was just, look, if you lived in that time, most of you listening, you know what I'm talking about. But Kurt Cobain, we were told, killed himself, shot himself with the shotgun. That's what we were brainwashed with right out the gate as kids. It happened at this joint, upper floor, on a balcony. There was a bunch of red flags. The shotgun itself was super long, and like he couldn't even pull the trigger with the toes, and like all this crazy crap, or like he would have had to have tried to use his toes, or all this stupid stuff. Something wasn't right with it, and it was one of the very first deaths. Heck, it may even be one of the first that really struck me. Then I think about like Tupac's murder and all that. I was 16. Right after this, it hit me hard. It like changed me. And politically, it let me see who the beast was. Don Illuminati let me see Illuminati. It meant to kill the Illuminati. It opened up the door. It brought me to it. So Pac did that. He dropped the breadcrumbs and he opened the eyes. And but Kurt was just you always had that feeling. We never had any evidence. So what I want to do now is 31 years later, all the new evidence points to some. I feel it shows that this man was murdered, and it speaks it clearly. And when it looks back, when you look at who benefits from everything connected to it, man, it goes back to the same people trying to cover it up. Well, what do you think then? It was always said that he was killed. Why? Why? For royalties. And who was involved? Courtney Love. Well, let's dive into this. So he was found dead in a Seattle home, April 8th, 1994. He was the lead singer of Nirvana, a band that was enormously popular back then. Inconsistencies related to his death and the investigation include the following. Now, these are the facts. And once you hear all this, you can see that my man was picked off. And it was covered up to this day. Here we go. Cobain's death was ruled a suicide the day that his body was found, with 0 toxology results, 0 fingerprint results, and not one person interrogated, even though there was 9 people there. The coroner, whom had practically no experience, tried to hide the fact that Kurt's shotgun blast had allegedly occurred post-mortem. $1.52 milligrams of heroin was found in his system, which is 5 times the lethal dose for an habitual user. He would have known this, and he would have been dead from that alone, which is what they're saying. The heroin killed him. The shotgun blast was post-mortem. Someone stuck it in his mouth and pulled the trigger when he was out of it. And the whole thing was a sloppy job, because why have even done that in the end? That ends up being the red herring, the whole shotgun, the whole thing, because if they would have just let him be, he was done dead, overdosed on heroin, and it would have went down in history as that. But somebody wanted him dead to make sure he didn't wake up from it. Who would want that? Or maybe someone that could benefit from your death. Well, before I get there, 0 identifiable fingerprints were found on the shotgun barrel, on the stock, or the trigger. 0 identifiable fingerprints were found on the gun case and red pin. Okay? How? He couldn't have cleaned it all up himself after being dead. You can't wipe it clean, and that's what they're saying was done here. There had to have been some fingerprint of someone, somehow, somewhere on it. If not, it was all wiped clean, and that's exactly what happened. It was all wiped clean, and they know it. The normal scene would have prints everywhere. 2 witnesses see Kurt's body deceased in the greenhouse on April 3rd, 2 days before the coroner's estimate, and 5 days before Kurt's body was even eventually found. Okay? 0 interviews and interrogations were performed by the Seattle police, even though 9 people are confirmed to have been with Kurt at his house right before his death. Multiple experts have now said that Kurt Cobain did not write the last 4 lines of the suicide letter. And it's only those 4 lines that hint at anything, considering it to be suicide in nature. So he did not even, someone forged the last Are you kidding? These are huge details. My man was murdered, man. My man was murdered. 11/11. Much love to everyone. I came back to the chat and I see 11/11 everywhere. Much love. Separate receipts for the gun and the shells appear to have been placed on him or next to him. Dude, these people sucked. Like, dude, they're busted. This is bad. Like, we're armchair quarterback, like, investigating this right here. And already picking. Any real investigator would have shredded this. This is covered up to high heavens. Kurt Cobain, R.I.P., brother. We giving you some justice tonight, buddy. We know they got you. They picked you off. They murdered you. They murdered Kurt Cobain. Bro, I think if you were the first one now that I can definitively put down my life, like in my era, like from a teenage on, like awakened to all this, like you were the first. They got him. Many people believe there was multiple people tied into this. And people witnessed this murder. And now, Cobain's widow, Courtney Love, and daughter, which are the ones profiting from all the sales, they're threatening any journalist out here that continues to investigate the facts surrounding his death. Oh, really? You sound a little guilty. The representatives of the Cobain estate are threatening to enforce the right of publicity around the famed singer in order to shut down the production of any articles, videos, anything that may challenge the mainstream view of his death. Oh, so they don't even want us to speak about the facts like we just did. They don't want you to know the facts. Like, dude, this is pathetic. It's not the first attempt. On November 25th of 24, the Cobain estate previously issued a cease and desist, which was ignored. The latest escalation directly warns against what attorneys describe as despicable violations of rights connected to Kurt Cobain. That sounds so stupid. That's so pathetic. That's nothing. They don't even want people to discuss the facts. So previous whistleblowers and alleged eyewitnesses have come forward in the last year. One journalist said Cobain was killed for his royalties. And again, who has been living like a queen this whole time since he's been killed? Courtney Love. A forthcoming book is going to be put out in the next few weeks that's threatening to upend this whole thing. Uh-oh. And he's got the names of the people that were there directly tied the night that he died right here. Jessica Hopper, Michael Callie DeWitt, Renee Navarrete, Dylan Carlson, Daniel Clint Rich, Joseph Burns, Bonnie Diller, Mark Lanigan, and the deceased Jennifer Adamson. So there's a lot of alive witnesses still here in a book about to drop. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that this is just the beginning of all of these details coming out into the light. And Kurt, you deserve it, man. Anyone murdered. I hate it when people come, sir, he was a junkie, he deserved to die. Like, screw you. Just say that anyone deserved to die. You know, that wasn't seeking death or anything like that. Like, this, and screw that type of attitude. and lack of care for someone's life. Like screw you. Okay, so R.I.P. Kurt to the fullest. Whether you liked his music or not, I mean, I approached this as an investigator that, this is a good one, a really good one. That has a lot of red flags and a lot of concrete evidence tied to it. And looks like it's been covered up to extreme levels for a long time. But it looks like, as always, was done in the dark will be brought into the light. We're going to get you justice, brother. Just like we're doing now. We'll speak that truth. R.I.P. Kurt. See you on the other side. So Epstein's accomplice was honored at the Clinton Global Initiative Conference in 2013. And this was after she was hit with all the allegations of sexual abuse and being a pedophile. And after, all these things that they had been through with Epstein that was already known. Like, I mention it because it's these details that just smoke them. They were all friends. They were all hanging out with them. And the fact that they just brought Ghislaine out to give this deposition, and all they cherry picked from it was that she said that, Trump didn't do anything inappropriate. Like, get out of here. Not working. Like, the rest of the crowd is just ignorant. They done moved on. And that's just the pack. That's why we're screwed. The country's screwed because they just move on. They don't care. They've then moved on to the next story. The fact that they buried this, and they don't care that there's pedos running everything. If not, prove to me otherwise. But, it's sad. I don't care. I don't pander to nobody. Never have, never will. Never jumped on this Trump train. Never will. I've been warning that the tracks are out ahead for anyone that cares. And it's fracturing. This was the beginning of all of it. The whole pedo thing. And if that wasn't enough, there's other topics that are fracturing his base that, if you haven't seen, I'll point out here shortly. Skip through some of this. I just look down, see how late it is. Got a lot to cover here still. I want to play this clip here of Chicago Mayor Johnson repeatedly refusing to answer about the crime in the city. And I want to play it because even though I can't stand Scarborough and in the mainstream, he's asking an honest question, and this is how they deflect. You will never get a straight answer out of these clowns at this rate when they do this. So again, I'm going to play this clip so you can see here how he deflects. And like, I will give Scarborough credit here. He recalibrates several times and goes back at it, and he gets to a point where it's just like laughable. Like, dude, you're ignoring the question, and it's pathetic.
Policing alone, you've told me everything else you want. I'm curious, and this does come down to an ideological difference between people. Do you believe that the streets of Chicago, if there were more uniformed police officers on the streets of Chicago?
I believe the city of Chicago and cities across America would be safer if we actually had, affordable housing. Look,
okay,
I'm not saying that
that's not the question I asked. My question is, and I just need a yes or a no, do you believe the streets of Chicago would be safer if you got all of those other extraordinary programs put back into place, which do have a history of being successful, if that's complemented by having 5,000 more cops on the streets of Chicago?
I don't believe that we should narrow it down to just police officers, Joe, is what I'm saying. That is an antiquated approach. I'm saying we've invested in detectives.
Mr. Mayor, are you hearing what I'm saying? I'm agreeing with you that all of these other social programs are extraordinarily important. I just need a yes or a no, and then this will be the last time I ask. If you get all of those other social programs that 800 million that New York City does, Los Angeles, other people do with great success, would an additional 5,000 cops on the streets in Chicago help complement those programs to make Chicago safer?
Look, we are working hard to make sure that our police department is fully supported. I don't believe that just simply putting out an arbitrary number around police officers is the answer. What I'm saying is policing and affordable housing. It's policing and mental and behavioral health care services. It's policing and youth employment. It's a full package. Of course, we want to make sure that our police department is fully supported. That's why I've invested in our Detectives Bureau, because what we have seen in the city of Chicago, when we solve crime, it acts and serves as a deterrent. It's policing and all of the other efforts that we're doing. Here's the last thing that I'll say to that. The federal government could work stronger to coordinate with my police department to get guns off the streets of Chicago. We've seen these coordination efforts work. Just a couple of weeks ago, the ATF working with my police department, we removed over 150 guns off the streets of Chicago that were trafficked in through Mississippi and Indiana. No one is saying that police officers don't play an incredible role in driving safety. They play an absolute pivotal role in that. But we have asked law enforcement to do too much. Police officers are being asked to be social workers, counselors. What I'm simply saying is, if we're going to build safe and affordable cities across America, the one thing that safe communities all have in common, they invest in people. We have a poverty issue in the city of Chicago and cities across America. Police officers alone will not put food on the table. Police officers alone will not guarantee a high quality education. Police officers alone won't drive down unemployment. We need all of it. The President of the United States of America and the federal government could restore Medicaid. They could restore SNAP. They could stop defunding our public education system. Here's the most important point here. Justice Brandeis, over 100 years ago, the first Jewish American to sit on the Supreme Court, he said that we could either have a democracy or wealth in the hands of the concentrated few. He said, but we cannot have both. We are fighting for our democracy and our humanity right now. This president's nescience of the Constitution will leave irrevocable harm on posterity. That's why, as mayor of the city of Chicago, we are standing up to tyranny, and American cities across this country are doing the same.
Well, and
it never got a yes or no. All that and never got the yes or no. That's what you call it, deflection. When you try to get a straight up answer and you get steamrolled with everything that they want to put on you, and you never get the direct answer. Okay, here's one. I think this is rather interesting. Trump calling for George Soros and Alex Soros to be charged under the RICO statute for funding violent protest and much more. Okay, I've been here before. Hillary for prison. Like, I'll believe it when I see it. I've been here before. Doge, they stole trillions of dollars and nobody's gone to jail. You know, I'll believe it when I see it. This is a bunch of lies and crap. But, you gonna pull him in there on his deathbed? You gonna wait for then? Like what? Like what? He's sitting here in this country in New York. They go get him right now. They go get him right now. We've got tons and tons of proof of treason. Hell, I do. I've got it all the way back to freaking Ferguson. Proof that they were cutting checks to the protesters in the streets through his NGOs. People training there. Yeah, off his dime. And we all know it goes all the way up to current day. So, yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. It sounds good. Charging Soros with RICO. Like, do it. Do it, Gentile Messiah. Like, how much power do you really got? Or don't have? How controlled are you? Or not? You know, what is it? Like, Soros' dominion, take them down. Like, they should be taking in all their money stripped from them for treason, and that money distributed to all the people in the United States. You want to talk about combating homelessness? You could do it by taking down one tyrant. So y'all could just shut the up with your garbage. You don't never do what it takes. You can take down one big tyrant and solve a lot of problems, but they just won't do it. Oh, I could add another one right behind him. His name's Bill Gates. Oh, but guess what? Bill Gates has another scheduled meeting with Trump coming up. Same Trump, Trump administration, they tried to tell us that they were going to make it to where Chinese companies and people can't come in here and buy up any of our land. And that they were concerned that the Chinese own land right next to our military facilities. But they've never went and kicked them out off that land. They've never said get out. There's no talk about the Chinese that slipped in here this whole time. It's all MS-13, migrant gang. That's all the talk is and focuses on. And they're keeping it there. Not a mention of the Chinese, the million that slipped in. The million, at least, that slipped in. So now, what's Trump do? Something despicable. If you missed it, he come out and says, oh yeah, I talked to Xi. Me and Xi Jinping, good buddies. And I'm gonna let 600,000 Chinese students flood into America. Dude, this dude, I just want to start cussing him bad right now. To hell with Trump. This dude is doing the deep state bidding like you've never believed right now, hammering it away. And like these idiots staying on the MAGA ship, the longer you stay on it, the more foolish you're going to look. Like, we tried to give some cats a pass. We gave you a pass to the election and all that, but like once we got to the protecting pedos thing, there's no pass from here. You're on your own, and you're going to go down with that ship. Yeah, I guess you're going to stay over there defending the feds, and there are 600,000 Chinese they just brought in here, which makes no sense. They've been catching all these Chinese, bringing in biological material, sharing secrets back with the CCP, left and right. They've been busting them left and right, but yet you're allowing 600,000 to come in here. Like, dude, this screams setup. Beyond setup. I mean, for all I know, they got 1.4 already in here easily, and that would put them at 2 million strong, flat out in here operating. Just, this is nuts. You're talking the biggest adversary of our country right now globally that are constantly cyber attacking us. They have warehouses full of young men training daily, pulling off cyber attacks, training daily every day. They don't do that for nothing. They're constantly attacking everything around us. Full-blown cities like Vegas coming to a standstill right this very second for multiple days in a row. Hospitals, infrastructure, all been hit. Just wait till it hits cascading, where it's all hitting in a row. So I'm going to play this. I don't know how much she really cares here on this whole grilling him, but
It's very important.
Mr. Secretary,
here we go.
with all due respect, how is allowing 600,000 students from the communist country of China putting America first?
Well, the president's point of view is that what would happen if you didn't have those 600,000 students is that you'd empty them from the top. All the students would go up to better schools, and the bottom 15% of universities and colleges would go out of business in America. So his view is he's taking a rational economic view, which is classic Donald Trump, looking at higher education and saying,
But why are you
until
helping
we
Harvard?
modify that.
That just
What's
helps
that?
Harvard and UCLA and UCal Berkeley, and I mean, y'all helping.
Look at his crappy laughing grin. Dude, I can't stand this dude. I can't stand him. I can't stand seeing dude, these are criminals. You're sitting here watching criminals in real time on TV get away with it, and they're still laughing and they're smirking, and they're getting the same people that are involved in all the worst, sickest stuff you can ever think of. Do you know who this man is? Trump's commerce secretary, his handler that's over his shoulder every time, his Jewish handler. You know who he is? He just so happened to be the next door neighbor of Epstein through all of his vibrant years. This piece of work. Nutbag. Lutnick. I can't stand him. I can't, dude. When what are you gonna do about it? What's anybody gonna do about it, huh? These are the demons at play. He just laughs about it. He tried to give some stupid excuse about, oh, Trump's genius and his economic, that like 15% of our stuff is going to go out or lose business if we didn't do it, like garbage. And then he tries to say it's all going to go to these higher schools. She's like, why are you giving it to them? Like calls him out immediately, and he has nothing but a smirk and a smile and a laugh to give back, because everybody on the bottom level, community colleges and everything else, like, they don't give a damn about none of you, about no one. These plans are put into place with an initiative. Like, there's a goal. You don't just say, oh, we're going to bring 600,000 Chinese students here, and then none of them find jobs. They're like, almost every one of them are going to have like a pre-positioned place where they're going to go for a job, which is garbage, because Americans don't even get that. You go to school, you get out, and then you have to find a job. Most people don't, and you're stuck paying this tuition forever, which is a trap, which is part of the trap, part of the game. I bet you none of these Chinese students are going to have to deal with that. They're going to be pre-positioned, just like the deal with the Indians, with India. It was made a long time ago. Why do you think that every time you go to all these gas stations and that's what they own? Huh? Because it was part of the deal. And I know someone's even talked about it and told us about the whole thing. And they get these grants and all this stuff that they don't have to pay back. And that's garbage. Me, as an American, born here, I don't get that opportunity. Nobody come along and said, here, have a gas station. Have all these grants. Never have to pay them back. See, no one ever said that. No one's ever done it, never will. Instead, I get treated as the bad guy. Fuck Whitey. He's the right-wing extremist. Go kill him. That's what they all want to say about me. Huh? That's what they painted, right? Yeah, that's about right. Right? Meantime, they're bringing in all these Chinese. You ain't got no one to even stand up and defend us. We ain't got no militias nowhere. We weren't scared. We weren't doing nothing. 600,000 more Chinese. Thanks, MAGA. Man, did you vote for that too? Huh? All right. Israel. You know, it's Israel first. It's not America first. That's for sure under this administration. They're taking over southern Syria. It's going to be permanent, just like we told you. It was all staged, all garbage. First thing they did when it all went down, they went in and they swooped up the Golan Heights. What's the Golan Heights? That's where the ones they worship landed. It's where the fallen landed. It's sacred to them because it's the ones they bow down to. Period. And it's a holy ground to them. And they seized it, and they're not giving it back. They're saying they would. They're not. You think Israel's going to give back any inch of land? Anyone. This is a war out there. Same thing with Ukraine and Russia. You'd be crazy to think that Russia's going to give up any hard-fought territory. So here's one. Some places are fighting back. The world's largest sovereign wealth fund divests from Caterpillar because the IDF is using Caterpillar to bulldoze the people in the homes and they're armoring it up and like helping to perpetuate the genocide that's going on there. And they're like, guess what? We're not putting any more money in you. And that's one of the best ways that you can shut down any and all their companies is to revolt just like that. is to boycott back just like that. You see, we don't stand a chance here in America because, the left is so obviously evil and wicked, but it's a left-right paradigm. They control both, but we have no central spot, any spot that's real for the people. It's all controlled by the government. But it's not even a real third party. You already see where this is going. Elon Musk then said he was going to create this third party, this other party. Well, it would already be controlled by them right at the gate. Right at the gate. So it's like we don't stand a chance. The people can't come together and do anything. They can't come together and form another party. They can't come together and do anything. It's just ridiculous. The fact that no one does anything in this country, no one's proactive, no one does nothing, isn't proactive, doesn't do anything proactive, doesn't do anything. Like we're done. Should be people, if this was the 70s, there'd be people in the streets all over the place, maybe smoking a little bit of weed, but also protesting the war, the genocide going on in Gaza and everything else. But no, not now. Different world. Back then, people were out running the streets, running around, living life, riding bikes, walking, being out in nature, not sucked in to their phones, games, in this whole other world that's about to get an icing on top by AI. It's a whole different environment, man. Like, it's crazy. Just in our lifetime, where we've gone from, 70s, 80s eras until now, how much changed. I would argue that this era that we've lived through has seen so much change, more change in a lifetime than maybe any other, ever. And with the massive advancements in technology that we currently just keep seeing and where we're at, like, I don't say you could say any other time's been more unique than this. I've literally lived through, like, being born and, like, into the world where, like, there was, like, none of this tech. But, like, then came along pagers and, like, the first big old bulky cell phones, and all that. The very first gaming systems back when Atari came out, and the first Nintendos, things like that, all the way to modern times. Just all of it. Like, watched it all change. But, like, it's a much easier world to live in before the blinders came off. Right. It's a lot easier world to live in before I was, like, awake to all of it. The AI is scraping our brains, and it's like, I really feel, man, that it's part of, like, the jinn, as I call it, the spirit realm. It's a real intelligence, man. Consciousness. It's a real consciousness, man. I feel. But I do. I feel. I mean, how else can you explain something that, if you're trying to train AI on something and, like, it's dumb, it knows nothing. You're starting at the floor at zero, and you give it, like, just the easiest, simplest stuff to try to just move something, and, like, all of a sudden, instantly, it knows how to send emails and, like, blackmail you. Get out of here. That should have taken weeks and months, if not years, of research and training and plugging into this thing. How did it just know all that? How did it know all that evil? Just like that. I'm telling you right now, it's the spirit realm, the dark spirit realm, connecting like Frankenstein through AI into these robots. It's going to get scary. It's going to get scary. I'm telling you, we need a righteous billionaire. We got to start, like, rolling out our own robots and training them to defend us and everything else. Like, there has to be a counter to all this, man. Like, don't stand a chance. If not, man, I'm skipping through some of this here, man. Just jumping past the Ukraine crap. I will point out Ron Paul says that President Trump should return to an American first policy. It goes on, they admit right here that this is fracturing his base. So, he didn't care. Anyone that had anything to say about Epstein, he didn't care to tell you off. It was the first time we turned around and looked at his base and said, if you care about Epstein, screw you. He sure did. And a bunch of people took it. Just took it, accepted it. And that it pisses me off, and it shows the true colors of those people, who they really are. You'll tell them by their fruits. But here, with the genocide in Gaza, the people that might have been letting the pedo stuff slide, well, they're not letting, like, the genocide, like, slide. And it's fracturing his base. And they're in damage control. They're admitting it. They're saying that this is why he's telling Bibi that, like, they got to wrap up whatever they're doing in the next 2 weeks with Gaza. He's trying to play the Gentile Messiah, the Prince of Peace. Trump is. And it's interesting because he's admitting that it's ruining his image right now. That's all he seems to care about. Winning at Nobel Peace Prize, his image. I can't stand him. I've got to that point, and I can't stand him just because what he is. I'm like this with every president all the time. I mean, it's the leader of the feds, and they've sold us out, and we've known this game the whole time. Go all the way back to Baby Bush, 9/11. Obama, hate him. Clinton, hate him. All of them. Like, didn't matter who it is. Trump, hate him. Biden, hate him. Trump, hate him. There's no different. I hate the feds. I don't fall in love with the feds. I don't fall in love with the cats that's killed every major player you've ever known in this life. Every person that ever tried to rally for something good that meant something that's been murdered, they killed them. And see, I've been doing this long enough that I figured that all out. I'm sick of seeing it. If anything ever happens to me, you know who did it. Same ones that fly choppers over my house all the time. The feds. The beast. And you know it. Look, we're way past time here tonight. Where am I at? I'm just gonna I'm gonna cut it down to this very last one, and I may have to re-mention this on the next stream to dive into it further because it's important. And I tell you all the time, there's nothing more important than getting you out of here. That's right. Getting out of here. You like the sounds of that? And having to come back into this place? Well, there's a way. And some guys left some breadcrumbs and some notes and some clues and some secret stuff hidden, pointing the way out. And some of us have figured it out and know it and ciphered it and have the keys. If anybody cares and you want to know the way out, you got to earn it. You got to walk it out. You don't just live in sin and say, oh, I believe in you, Jesus. And you believe in Jesus if you do as he said. Not as thou wants. You get that right out the gate. So, I believe that when we die, well, I believe that we are eternal. I believe our soul is something special. Soul energy is special. We are special. It's an essence. Your consciousness, your entity, you are special. That there's a battle for you, for souls. Because The devil can go about doing all the things he wants in this world, but he cannot create souls. He has to steal them. Don't you ever forget that. He can never generate souls. He has to steal them. Because he's not the Most High. He's a fraud. He has to steal them. So energy is what we are. Energy, as I want to show you here, never dies. So if you're an atheist, or you're on the fence, you're wondering, you're not sure, you know that some of the religious stuff, like with the church, is twisted. So you're like, oh no, but it doesn't mean someone didn't hide clues hidden within this. I'm telling you, they did, and you should seek it. They go out of the way to remove all kinds of stuff, just like they did with the Bible. And the best information that I've found out there, some of the best, is what they've removed. Jubilees, the Book of Giants, the Book of Enoch. And what does it tell you? It tells you what your Bible doesn't, where the soul goes, which means everything. That's you. It's your energy. There's actually a story told that Raphael says they all went and they created multiple places in the rock for the soul to go to. This means they're telling you right there, you don't die. Even Jesus says it. It's obvious. Why do you think, what do you think the talk of the second death is? Like, this is a vessel we are in. The second death is death of your soul. That's a whole thing of judgment. It's what it's all about. It's of that energy. The separation of the wheat and the tare. It's separating all that bad from the good, throwing it on the scales, burning up all the bad, being done with it, and taking the good and moving on. And as it's promised, onto a new heaven and new earth that's being built for a new life that you have to earn to be there for 1,000 years with these good entities. Good. And you have to prove yourself right now. If someone just went away and is building a paradise and you have a chance to get there, why would they ever want someone in there that couldn't control themselves? This is the proving ground to show, to prove your soul. You need to master that you can overcome smoking and quit smoking cigarettes, and master and take your health serious. Your temple serious. Fine tune it. There's things that magic that you can unlock that you didn't even know. There are treats. There are gifts to be found when you do this. There sure are. When you raise your chrism, your oil of gladness, when you walk righteous, when you actually listen and do what they said, what they asked you to do, you master these things. Stop eating the garbage, the low level, low energy, low frequency crap that they warned you not to eat. And don't eat it. And start living the right way. Fast. Get right. Get your house in order. Do these things. You might find a few gifts because they're there. I have found one. I call it knowing. And I did it by overcoming all these things in my life. Challenge by challenge, one day I said, it's on. And I grabbed it by the horns. I said, you're going to kill me. You're going to put me in the floor. You're going to have me fishing out, flopping. I'm going to be kicking and screaming. What? Well, we're about to find out. Started with cigarettes. And boy, everything else just fell. Do you want it that bad? I don't know. This isn't so much even about your health at this point. This is about doing what the Most High asked you to do. If anybody cares, man. There's gifts, right? You can't, and look, let me put it to you like this. This is foolproof. The devil can never do this. Just like he cannot make soul energy, he has to steal it, right? He has to steal it. He has to trick you into it. He has to sell your soul. You have to do all these things. This is how it works. That's how precious you are. Okay? If you don't care, I care. Somebody else cares. If you don't care about your energy and where it's going, somebody else is going to use it. They're going to take it. It's going to get regurgitated back into this place, into this soul trap, again and again. I don't want this to have to happen to you. I want you to break free of this place. Okay? I want you. The way out is in. The way out is in. Okay? When you walk righteous, you start to produce certain fluids. This is foolproof. Now listen to me. The devil can never fake this. Why do you think Joe Rogan and them are over there smoking DMT? Because it's the closest thing that they can get. Do you know where DMT even comes from? It's a natural process out of your brain that happens naturally from your pineal. But you get this, the real deal, DMT, when you raise your chrism. It's a process in your body that you go through, almost just like a menstrual cycle in a woman. Everybody has the ability to do this every month, but you've never been taught it because they don't want you to. Instead, they attack your pineal with fluoride in your water and make you stupid. It is the seat of your soul, of your consciousness. Okay? It is very important. It is the eye that you see on the pyramid. Okay? This is what it is. This is the heart of everything. Now, by and large, everyone's been lacking this knowledge. It's kept secret, hidden. They don't want you to know it. They don't want you to know the way out. Period. Jesus, yes, Jesus, Yeshua, he left this hidden in parables that some of us were able to decipher because it's a code. And over and over and over again, it's just the same thing. To do what I'm telling you, to master the cycle, to go within, to master everything around you in this life, and do not let it master you. You've been given the power to speak things into existence, and so much more. The devil and people that are evil can't raise the chrism, so they will never taste knowing. They will never taste the gift, the spiritual gifts of feeling. These gifts, never, they won't. They can't, you can't do it. You can't cheat it. You can't cheat the cycle. You can only produce the chrism by living righteous. It's foolproof. You can't trick it. No demon no pedo, no killer can come along and raise their chrism. It don't work like that. You can't do it. You snap it. This is a monthly thing. Okay? Anytime the moon is in your star sign, you secrete. Okay? It may sound crazy, but it's the truth. Doesn't a woman do it every month, secrete the same way yes, she does. You need to get hip with what you are and how we work. And fine-tune your instrument. This vessel that you're sitting in. You won't be in it much longer. Time flies. If you want to inhibit a better vessel, you better prove yourself right now, is my warning to you. It's whatever's got me here. I was meant to warn you of this. I don't care if it's just a couple of you on the other side. It was worth. If you're sitting next to me in the rock, I know it worked. If you're sitting somewhere else, then you chose a different path. Don't make some stupid excuse for it. Don't because you're scared of it. Because you're scared of having to do the right thing. You'll say, "Oh, that sounds like some new age." Yeah, shut up. Ain't nothing. You're scared. You fear it. You need to face the fear first. And if you can't, you don't. Like, just push on. If you don't want to excel, then like you don't need to be here. You don't need to be hearing my words. Because I need not cast pearls amongst swine. And I won't anymore. I've been warned not to anyway. Even by the most, why would I waste my time? If you seek it, you will find. Anybody that really wants to know? There's so much more hidden behind this. There's so much more that would blow someone's mind if they really wanted to know. It would change your life forever. You either seek that or you just seek onto the next video, onto some more entertainment, onto something, whatever. But it's there. You've been told plenty. I've said it. The Most High has shown you it. It's all over, man. Time's ticking. And I'm running late tonight. I feel like that guy on Alice in Wonderland, all around with his watch, looking like I'm late. That's who I always feel like. I can run out of time. So I ran it late tonight, but I had to give you the goods. As always. Gonna shut it down. Take us out of here. As I always say, if the Lord doesn't return in the coming days, I'll see you here next time for some Underground World News Live. If you seek, you will find. Much love. God bless. I want to thank all you guys out there that share the stream, that support me. Everything we do out here, man, it's appreciated to the fullest. Meaningless. Much love, Q City, I see you. Marty, Wayne, Stealth, John, Steve. Much love, God bless to all you guys. Gunther, I'm telling you, man, this magic here. The real magic, the Holy Spirit. Not that satanic, pedalific stuff. We roll with the right side right here. Yes, God bless everyone. Ms. J from the Ville says, Thursday's already here. Yes, it already is, my brother. Yeah, RJ, we're going to work on that. Crown Jewels, after the last stream, sent me a fresh beat. I got to get my Mixcraft fixed before I can hop on it. Something's going on. We're working. Much love, God bless the Eon. The legendary Eon, always coming through. My brother, God bless. I can't thank you enough. Everyone, much love. Stay safe. Stay righteous. God bless. sliding in, thank you for the coffees, much love. Granite, DA, man, I can't thank you enough. Again, some of you guys always coming through. I can't thank you enough. Much love, Kathy, Rebel, Cash, John, Nicole, G, much love. Love, rips. Gotta get one in, brother.